brought to you by Southern Trust Home Services, 540-208-3425. Get into a Southern state of mind. Hey there, meteorologist Jamie Singleton with you here on a busy Saturday. Lots of events going on and some rain falling on the Smith Mountain Lake Wine Festival. We also had some rain pushing through Boone's Mill just as the Apple Festival was ending. I was out there live just a second ago. I want to say hey to everybody on Facebook and on Instagram right now as we're live and kind of showing you the radar here. We've got multiple severe thunderstorm warnings that are in effect, almost too many to post individually. So I just wanted to go live and kind of go over with you just an overview of what's happening here. And so for our Facebook audience, I'll do the switcheroo here, and you can see the split screen. And for the Instagram, you're already seeing the radar on your screen. We've got some activity in Franklin County. It's been very interesting to watch this. We had 1-inch hail reported in Roanoke. That was at 219, just north of Salem City by about 2 miles. And these storms really don't have a lot of wind shear. These are more of your summertime, late summer storms, when you just get a lot of heat, a lot of mugginess in the atmosphere. If you remember the past couple of days, it's been very dry, very, low humidity, very pleasant outside. What happened overnight last night is we had some return flow of moisture. And sometimes moisture in and of itself isn't really the key. It's the moisture advection. The movement of moisture will cause air to lift, and you can get, especially during the heating of the day, the peak heating of the day, which is occurring out there right now, or just a couple hours ago, temperatures up in the 80s. You can combine that movement of moisture with heat, and you can blossom up some severe storms. So not worried about rotation, but certainly these pulse type storms that can produce a lot of hail in individual areas and put down a ton of wind in a kind of a microburst straight line wind fashion. I think that's the main concern. Now, the good news is it's raining, but again, we usually break droughts or put dents in droughts at a costly price around here. It doesn't really perfectly balance out. So you got to take the good with the bad sometimes. So let's just go through a tour here of what's going on. And we've got one severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 4 o'clock for southern Pulaski County in the eastern Wythe County. That's a very strong cell right there, as you see that in motion. And lighter rain continuing in the Floyd County. Also in Franklin County here, around the Ferrum area in the Endicott, it's raining pretty good right now. No warning with that at the moment. We had a severe thunderstorm warning again in Roanoke, and luckily that weakened as it moved closer to the Smith Mountain Lake Wine Festival, but still some scary skies up there, no doubt, and caused a lot of folks, I'm sure, to hopefully take some shelter up there as well. Now we've got other severe thunderstorm warnings in Rockbridge County until 3:30, so for about another 9 minutes for Buena Vista and the Amherst. That's a particularly strong cell. That one looks still very intense. Again, some of these have already kind of worked over the atmosphere and they're weakening, but the one in Amherst County, it's moving out of the Rockbridge County area, so I think you're okay in Glasgow now, but still looking at Amherst about to get hit by this warning. It wouldn't surprise me to see a new warning issued for the rest of Amherst County very shortly. And the Sterling National Weather Service has a few warnings out, one in effect north of Waynesboro here until 3:30. Then we've got another one in southern Nelson County until 3:45. So yeah, there's plenty of activity around. And then if you're watching in West Virginia, we had some storms earlier, still raining pretty hard just north of Pearisburg coming out of Giles County in the Route 100 there. You can see around Mercer County and Monroe County, some heavier storms as well. And don't want to forget our folks in Southwest Virginia, up and down the I-77 corridor. Again, Hillsville, that strong cell is just to your north, and this one looks to be the strongest right now that I see on radar, the one in Pulaski County. So I'm going to switch over to my high-resolution radar here, and this also shows you the lightning that we're dealing with. Lots of lightning out there with these thunderstorms, and again, lightning can be a killer. We don't issue, or the National Weather Service doesn't issue warnings based on lightning alone or lightning period, because they would have to issue by default every thunderstorm has lightning. They'd have to issue a warning for every storm. That being said, you can certainly tell there's a lot of lightning in here. Look at these reflectivities. This is probably hail around Hiwassee and Draper and Pulaski, some purples and even some black showing up there in my reflectivity. That's getting up around, if you're a weather geek, 65, 70 dBz. If I look at the hail indicator here, this is screaming hail right now. Those are very high values right now, and in fact, the radar here is showing me about 2 to 3 inch diameter hail. I doubt that's really getting to the ground. A lot of that will melt, but still at least 1 inch hail, maybe even bigger than that. Wouldn't surprise me to see 1 to 2 inch hail with this. These are the echo tops in this thunderstorm. We've got echo tops. These are the thunderstorm tops that are topping out close to 50,000 feet. That's also very impressive. And I'm also going to look at the wind here for you to see if I see any strong wind. I don't see anything screaming at me in terms of a high wind. This is primarily a hail threat, and that was the indication earlier in the Roanoke Valley area with that thunderstorm, the 1 inch hail. So these appear to be mainly hail producers, although with any thunderstorm you're going to get some gusty winds, and you could get some quick straight line winds just like that. So let's put this velocity in motion and see if we see anything interesting here. I don't see anything more than just some gustier winds. If you go back, we had some brighter colors into southern Pulaski County. That was at about, let's see, 20, 25 miles per hour on radar. But again, the hail here indicated here, as you can see, that's blown up. That is one of the more impressive hail signatures that I've ever seen in this area. So some very large hail. This is I-81 here, and then as you head south, let's see, that's closer to Claytor Lake here. Very, very large hail indicated there. You can also look at the correlation coefficient, where you see these colors that don't match up with the rest of the purple and maroon. That's also an indicator that you've got some ice falling from the sky, and probably some pretty big hailstones there falling out of that thunderstorm. So definitely take cover in that area. That can damage vehicles, that can break windows, especially if it's windblown. And again, this severe thunderstorm warning, let me read you the text here, is until 4 o'clock. So for another 35 minutes, it's near Draper, moving southeast at only 5 miles per hour. So it's a slow mover. I'll put that into motion. You can see how it's actually kind of a merging of cells. We had one coming out of southwest Wythe County. It merged with activity coming south out of Draper, and when you get those storm mergers like that, you can see even the outflow to the south of that building down. This is some intense activity, and some again, very large hail here. Radar indicated maybe 60 mile per hour winds, but quarter-sized hail. Patterson, Allisonia, Grahams Forge, and Draper in the path of this. And just reading the National Weather Service text here, pretty strong wording. Prepare immediately for large hail and damaging winds. Also, you always want to move into an interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building. And with hail, too, stay away from windows. Terminal velocities of these hailstones can be up to 90 miles per hour. So if you're out there and it's not hailing at the moment, but you get up underneath that suddenly, it's like being hit in the head with a rock or a baseball at a professional game. They throw it, those pitches up in Salem at about 95 miles per hour. It'd be like being hit in the head with a baseball, basically. So you don't want to be out in that, obviously. And hopefully, folks, in this area, you're taking the precautions and you're staying indoors. Again, this is not a very fast mover coming out of Pulaski. Let me move real fast here and see what else we've got going on. The one in Franklin County, I've just got a special weather statement for that. This is no warning, but I will read you the special weather statement. A strong thunderstorm at 3:05. Let's see, located near Callaway, moving southeast at 15. So this is moving a little faster in Franklin County. County. 40-mile-per-hour winds are possible. That's a fair amount of wind. We've also got Rocky Mount, Ferrum, Callaway, and Endicott in the path of this. A fair amount of lightning and some much-needed rain falling here, probably some gusty winds in there as well. The Smith Mountain Lake storm continues to kind of peter out over the area, but still some decent rainfall around the Burnt Chimney and the North Shore, at least better than nothing. Not much going on in Bedford County, but I did want to move up here across Amherst County because I mentioned that was another strong cell. I'll read you this warning. We've got the Buena Vista Park canceled. That's something I told you I'd expect there, but we until 3:30 for another 2 minutes we have that severe thunderstorm warning continuing there. From Wintergreen to Snowden, moving southeast at 15. And again, Forks of Buffalo, Clifford, Lowesville, Pleasant View in the path of this. We've also got some lightning showing up around Big Island into northern Bedford County. And then around Arrington, Livingston, and Piney River, Massey's Mill in southern Nelson County. That's part of the storm has weakened some, but you can see as I put this in motion, I would take cover around Amherst. They've trimmed that warning down, but still that purple there in that part of the cell to me indicates that it's a fairly strong storm. Looking at the hail signature here, you can also see the brighter colors that are showing up there. And I've got it kind of pixelated here. I can smooth it out here for you. Just so you can get kind of a better idea of what's going on. So the strongest hail, and as we load the high resolution topography up, pretty cool program here. You can see this is, what highway is that? That's the Blue Ridge Parkway. So coming out of Big Island along the parkway, you've got hail that could be around, let's see, max estimated hail size about 1 to 1.5 inches in diameter. So again, that's some dangerous hail there, and I'll put the smoothing on there. And as I say that, I was expecting a warning to be issued for the rest of Amherst County, and that has just come out. So that's the advantage of doing this live stuff for you here. This is a brand new severe thunderstorm warning in effect for all of Amherst County until 4:15. So for another 46 minutes or so. Severe thunderstorms located near Clifford to Pleasant View to near Snowden, moving southeast at 20. So these are moving a little faster, may contain not only the hail, but I think since these are moving faster, we also have to watch for the potential of strong wind in some of these, and even a little bit of rotation showing up as well. Although, again, there's not a ton of wind shear. I'm mainly concerned about straight line winds and large hail with this. It's hitting in the Amherst itself. Just had a couple of lightning strikes right over Amherst and north of Lynchburg into Monroe as well. So from Madison Heights to Sweetbriar Station, Amherst, you need to watch out for this. Forks of Buffalo as well, and Falconerville. Apologize if I slaughtered that. I don't pronounce that very often, but you can see it's just north of Lynchburg. It may graze Lynchburg actually within the next hour or so, but obviously that's a big concern there. So that's the Amherst County storm, and again the Rocky Mount storm is weakening but holding its own. And then you've also got again this activity here north of Perrysburg. Wouldn't surprise me to see a warning coming out any second now for the Rich Creek area of Giles County and the Perrysburg and southern Monroe County in West Virginia. You can see north of Pembroke, a lot of activity here. Hail indicator is not off the charts, but there certainly is a lot of reflectivity showing up around Rich Creek and a lot of rain falling. So again, some of this rainfall is needed, but you're going to have some runoff issues, drought or no drought. I can remember one time in Giles County, I had to go cover a flash flood that was up there in the middle of the 2002 drought because it just rained so hard. Some of these rainfall rates can be pretty impressive, especially when you get reflectivities like this. But by and large, man, this storm in Pulaski County is just unbelievably strong in terms of hail potential. And one of the ways I look at that is I look at it in 3 dimensions. So I'm going to draw a box here, and we're going to look inside the thunderstorm. We also now have a flood advisory for Pulaski County that is in effect until 23:30 UTC. So that's through the evening hours. But let me show you if I can get the 3D image up here. There we go. That'll stay up for me. Here we go. This is a three-dimensional look at the storm, and this is useful because you can pick out the hail that's aloft in the thunderstorm, and you can see the tops here going up to 40,000 feet or so. And again, to get your bearings, let me get rid of my mug there. Okay, so you can see Pulaski right here. Let me move my Instagram camera over. So you're looking to the north and you're looking inside of this thunderstorm. Now, one thing I can also do is we can look at the ISO surface. Basically, we look at certain reflectivities only. And if I go in here, I can change the value of that. So if I look deeper into the storm where the higher reflectivities are, this is where the hail is more than likely. Up in the cloud where you get into those purples there. And then I zoom in here, you can see that is suspended aloft up to about 21,000 feet. So this is, well, actually this is south here, and that's north. So this is looking down on the two-dimensional scale of that thunderstorm in Pulaski County, okay? So then as you tilt that into the three-dimension category here, you can see that as we go up to 20,000 feet, you have a lot of reflectivity showing up, very high values here. This is hail that's going to come down to the ground, and that's going to cause some damage out there. I'll continue refreshing that too because this will update. You can see just a few scans ago how it blossomed up. So this was about 15 minutes ago. Look at this. This was at 8 minutes past the hour, and this next scan was at 14 minutes past the hour. Up to 30,000 feet up in the air, we had indications of extremely large hail falling out of this thing. It's just fascinating to watch this, and watch as I put it into motion. See how it's collapsing down to the ground? That can also bring down some high wind as well. So that's what makes these storms so dangerous. It's again, it's that pulse nature. You can see it blow up there. Again, we'll start it at the beginning. It was just starting to get going, and then it merged, and you see that purple extend into the sky. It gets stronger. You get more purple into the sky. It towers up to about 30,000 feet, and now in the latest scans, it's starting to slam down into the ground. So no doubt, they're getting clobbered right now. You're getting clobbered in Pulaski County by that hail there. So just a different way, I guess, of looking at that thunderstorm. And I've got other things I can do here just to kind of scale off here some of the other parts of the storm. Let's see if I can go get rid of some of these lower values so you can see kind of a better look at the structure here. That's looking at all levels. And you can also do like a cross section of this, but again, this is the two-dimensional view, just so you don't get too confused by my 3D view here. But you can see that storm has not moved much, and in fact it's back building back into Pulaski County as well. That's a concern. That's why we also have an aerial flood advisory in effect for this area for the potential of well, the flooding that's ongoing right now. It's not flash flooding, but it's flooding likely in low spots here. So yeah, Pulaski County from Hiwassee, Draper, and Pulaski, and that actually extends into eastern, extreme eastern Wythe County as well. We'll put this into motion. You can see it merged, and it's not really moving. We've got some kind of convergence going on here. So the air's meeting, and it's still rising, and this storm is still very, very healthy and very strong coming out of Pulaski County. So this is a dangerous storm. Take it very seriously. And again, that warning continues until 4 o'clock. So for another 24 minutes or so, it may be extended. It's only moving southeast at about 5 miles per hour. I'll take a slice here too. This is not the three-dimensional volume scan, but what I can do is kind of slice right through this. Let me get a bigger slice here so you can see it a little bit better. Okay. So again, we're looking three-dimensionally at that storm. And I will get rid of my face there so you can see it a bit better. But that's Pulaski. And then as I position this throughout the storm, you can see how it towers up to about 30,000 feet. I can swing this around and we can find those purples there at about 10,000 feet. And you can see as I swing it around, there are different parts of the storm, obviously, that are stronger. But this is still a very healthy storm. And in fact, as I swing a little bit farther northward, where it's been back building a bit, that's actually one of the stronger parts of the storm. Maybe a new cell developing here. And again, this is in Pulaski County, so you definitely want to take this very, very seriously as we're looking at that hail potential there, and we continue to see a lot of heavy rain falling in that area. I want to get to the flood advisory that's in effect as well. You can see that now in blue. Let me just see if I can zoom in here on my weather tab and we can get some of that information for you here. That's in blue. That includes Snowville too. And I should be able to click for text. There we go. So on the flooding issue, we've got a small stream flood advisory for southeastern Pulaski County until 7:30. So for about another 4 hours or so, it'll take a while for this rain to run off. Doppler radar indicated heavy rain due to all these storms that you're seeing right now in motion, causing small stream flooding in the advisory area. Up to 2 inches of rain has already fallen. And again, that was when they put this out at 3:27. It's raining to beat the band, and you've got all that hail that's going to be melting too. Additional rainfall of 1 to 2 inches is expected over the area. So by the time these storms are done in Pulaski County, you could be looking at totals of 4 to 5 inches in a very isolated area. So again, drought or no drought, that's going to cause some issues out there. You turn around, don't drown. Even in a drought, the ground can only take so much. So in the purple or the blue area, that's where we have the flood advisory. You can see the very, very strong storm over Allisonia and just east of Lone Ash, and then we've got east of Clark's Summit, south of Pulaski, that new cell has developed. That's hidden right in the Draper. Tough travel all up and down 81 right now, unfortunately. New Bern right now, not really seeing much. Dublin's not seeing much. Radford's not seeing much. It's primarily southern Pulaski County that's in the danger zone right now for all that hail that's falling. And again, I'm also watching the heavier rainfall, and no warning with this, but certainly some gusty winds and heavy downpours southern Monroe County into northern Giles County. And then as we move into Amherst County, again, this is a dangerous storm, in my opinion. Maybe weakening a little bit, heading toward Amherst and Peddler Mills coming out of Para, and nearing Monroe as well. So watching that's until 4:15, that severe thunderstorm warning. And then we widen it out to the whole view, and we can see basically where the bigger storms are. So the two strongest ones are in Amherst County, that's the one, but the real strong one is in Pulaski County. That is nothing to mess around with. Got a new storm report here. I'm going to read it to you here. Let's see. Tree down across Meadowbrook Drive near the intersection with Glade Road. That was near Price's Fork at 140. So goes to show you that, again, while I was looking at the hail potential there, even in Montgomery County earlier, that can bring down some isolated straight line wind damage as well. So yeah, strong winds, but especially some huge hail coming out of these storms. And again, this one right here is a big concern, not to mention all the lightning and the heavier rain that's falling. There it is again in motion. So I'll continue to watch this for you, but continue to take shelter in this area. Take it very, very seriously. If you're under it, you know what I'm talking about. But my concern right now is that we're seeing new lightning developing around Pulaski, just south of Dublin, near Claytor Lake. So it's not the type of storm that kind of moves through the area. It's only moving southeast at 5 miles per hour. There's some kind of atmospheric convergence that's going on that's creating new cells that are training over the same areas. Not only are they training and producing heavier rain over Pulaski County, but they're redeveloping and towering up into the atmosphere, and they're tapping into some of that colder air aloft and drier air aloft that's creating the hail potential there. So that's the concern there. You can see we've got a special weather statement out for that Pearisburg storm. winds in excess of 40, moving east at 15. That would include Harrisburg and Rich Creek, Peterstown, Mountain Lake. Want to watch out for that as well. Good news is this Amherst storm appears to be weakening as well. The zone that was really in the most unstable air today was right over the NRV in the Roanoke Valley area, and I can quickly show you that as well if you want to get a little explanation here what's going on. This is what we call convective available potential energy. It's what these storms drive off of. What causes them to lift, and I know it's a little hard to see. I'll get rid of the radar up underneath, but this is Virginia right here, and you can see we've got CAPEs up to 4,000 joules per kilogram. That's an incredible amount of CAPE, and what that does is it allows the air to rise very rapidly. You get strong updrafts, and that's wind that blows up into the atmosphere straight up, and that's important because what it does is it keeps those hailstones circulating up into the cloud, and that's why you're getting that big hail in Pulaski, because gravity is not able to pull those hailstones down just yet, at least in some areas, because you've got so much energy out there that's pulling it upward, and then eventually gravity does win out, and that's when you see all the damage out there. So that's what we're mainly concerned about. We've got a little bit of a rotation here, a little bit of wind shear. Let me look at the bulk shear. We've got just a hint of it, just enough to create some high wind concerns. If you look at the upper level features here, we look for ripples in the jet stream, but you can see the winds are coming out of the south and southwest. This is a return flow of moisture that the models picked up on today. You can see that this is our area. Overnight, last night, let's see, that was overnight last night. You can see that one wave, and you can see all the white here. That's the higher amount of moisture moving in. And then this little wave that's coming through right now where you see that contrast, that's an upper level disturbance that's helping to fire off these thunderstorms. And then below that, which you've got, and I haven't looked at this yet, so I'm predicting that this is what you're going to see. You've got these purples that are moving in. I mentioned the moisture is moving into the area, and it's not really the moisture itself, but the movement of moisture that can create the stronger storms. So if you start out earlier today, you can see how we weren't quite as humid, and then as the day went on, you could probably feel it actually. It got really muggy and really warm, and those are those purple colors showing up there at about 5,000 feet that have been moving into the area. So it's been return flow of moisture and a combination of several factors that's been the big concern out there right now. This is the bigger picture on the GR Earth, and you can see that we've got snow falling up to 8 inches out in Billings, Montana, or near that area. Quite a trough out here, and then we've got the big ridge off here to the east, but it's breaking down enough to where we're seeing ripples of energy ride along the periphery of that ridge. So not as dry, bone dry, but again, we're having that severe weather that we're having to deal with there as well. That's your update for right now. I'll jump on here if I need to. If any more warnings come out, I'll probably post some text and pictures just so you can get a different viewpoint and not have to watch the whole video. But we do want to thank our sponsor, Southern Trust Home Services. They are concerned about, weather because they deal with that a lot with their generators that they offer in case the power goes out. And we thank Ted Puzio for his support and allowing me to do this for you. 540-208-3425. Give them a call and tell them, if anything, you appreciate the ability to see these updates thanks to what they do for us. So that's the update for right now. Again, I'll have more updates as necessary. Brought to you by Southern Trust Home Services, 540-208-3425. Get into a Southern state of mind.